only need 2 bottles now. Okay.
Did you get your clapping out of the way?
I was trying to get close to the microphone.
Yeah. Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I am Rex. This is Whiskey. Here we go.
Like, it's sort of like, you know, you ever watch that show Monk? Like when he walks by things,
I've seen a few episodes.
He does this, you know, and always has to touch that. I have the same kind of vibe. It's just clapping and...
Oh, it's the clapping.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted
and there's another thing that I won't tell you, because if I tell you, you'll never be able to unsee it again. Anyone who ever watches this episode, it will ruin them for watching our show.
I mean, you can't set that kind of premise, can't toss that out there and then not... What is it? What is it?
For some reason,
Yeah.
Never in my life.
Yeah.
This is very revealing.
Yeah.
Never in my entire life have I ever had this issue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save it for the end of the episode.
Ah!
This is a gift. I love that. This dismay.
Fine. Quickly.
Let's move the review along. This is from Raul Martinez, a magnificent bastard.
Raul Martinez, you magnificent
Bastard!
That's what we in the industry call a teaser.
Yeah. Is this the same Raul that's come and hung out with us?
Yeah.
Hey, get a hold of me. You left those Mizunara whiskey stick stave things, and you did like a test, put them in the bottles, and I have some questions because I want to be doing some things with that. So do something.
Email me, I'll forward it over to Rex.
Done.
All right. This is interesting. So, you know, the Ichiro Distillery in Japan, actually making whiskey. It's one of the ones making things.
Yes.
Right. And this one is the founder.
Yeah.
He goes around and Ichiro Akuto.
Yeah.
And I'm never am certain how I'm pronouncing Japanese names correctly, but sure, why not?
I think it has to do with that. Just there's this atmosphere in Texas that it infects the language center of the brain.
Yeah.
That doesn't allow you to pronounce words correctly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It even even our president that came from Texas is like nuclear strategery.
That was an SNL skit.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, he's taking a base of his own malt that he's made.
Right.
And then he's grabbing whiskey from around the world and blending them together. So there could be U.S. whiskey in here. There could be Canadian whiskey. There could be Scotch.
There's Scotch.
Could be Irish. But remember, it's a base of his malt.
Okay.
So the malt, which they make, that could be where the Scotch notes are coming from.
That's fine. So on the nose, this smells like Scotch. It's a sweet malty Scotch. There's some honeysuckle in there, which is nice.
There's sort of a musty wood, but kind of creamy at the same time.
Yeah. It's not. If you're into Scotch, you would be into this.
This is a really nice light blend, like not a blend, because it doesn't have any of that ethanol. I mean, I know it is a blend, but it doesn't smell like a grain blend.
This isn't a budget blend.
Yes.
Yeah.
This has not got that really bright, shiny vanilla icing metallic note.
At the same time, it is a lighter, sweeter, more, at least on the nose, almost effervescent.
Oh.
Ooh. What is that?
Nice.
Hold on. Is that a little earthiness?
I was gonna say it's almost grass and earth.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of it's not so much smoke as barrel spice.
It didn't show up on the nose at all.
No.
Yeah.
But it's flat and mulchy. But mulch is the wrong word because it's not that dark. It still tastes light.
Yeah. It's right in the middle of the taste too.
But there's this earth.
So hold on.
And it's not cut grass.
All of like the sweet malty stuff, the stuff that we're talking about on this, that shows up. But what's most interesting is this big core of like this nice, nicely well-balanced earthiness. Almost, if you took all of the smoke quality out of peat, and occasionally you get like an earthy peat, if you took like the earthy presentation of peat and then cranked the volume down from 10 to like 3. And it's right in the middle of this.
Yeah, and so it's living closer to barrel wood spice than it is, and than it is to like smoke.
Exactly.
It's very vanilla cream, but it's not pure vanilla. I mean, in its presentation, it's got this round, creamy vanilla direction. I almost keep wanting to say berries or fruit.
Yeah.
But it's too covered in that sweet.
So, a situation like this, it'd be very easy for me to not give Japanese whiskey their due because it's like, oh, they did a really good Scotch. But, obviously the Scottish influence and the origins of Japanese whiskey, that's for real, and it shows up in a lot of Japanese bottlings. But at the same time, you can't just say, oh, good job imitating Scotch Japan over and over and over, because I think they're doing, even though you get a lot of flavors that feel like, oh, these are very Scotch-centric flavors, in the execution of a lot of their whiskeys, I don't think I've had a Scotch present these flavors in this way.
I think
I've had these flavors in Scotch before, but that kind of like dialed down earthiness and this sweet maltiness wrapped around that. And
what I keep finding in these is they're really good at delicate.
Yes.
Right? Well, like these are delicate flavors that hold their own. It's like what's the art of creating the paper cutouts where you peel
origami?
No, that's folding paper.
You peel?
There's these paper cutouts where it's like relief, and there's whole, and you can. I've seen like entire like field and woods and tree scenes and ocean scenes cut out of paper.
Well, it's
paper thin.
Well, there's like reliefs, but
no, I'll look it up. We got comments if you want to do this real quick.
And then we're not going to forget about your very personal confession, which I'm sure, by the end of the episode, it has to be a letdown. It can only be a letdown.
Look at this.
Is it going to be a letdown?
No, it's not a letdown. Okay. Look at that. That's paper.
What's it called?
It's just called hand-cut, detailed paper.
Insanely detailed paper art.
Yeah, it's just paper art. I mean, I think they call it...
Matt Martinez wanting to start my infinity bottle. Should I do 2 ounce or 4 ounce pours from bottles that will be going in there? I usually suggest the smaller pours, because if something goes in there that you are not a fan of at all,
you don't want it dominating.
You don't want it to dominate.
It really depends on the size of your bottle too.
It also depends on how often you're opening a bottle, right? If you're cracking into a bottle 6 times a year, then you may need some thicker pours to build an infinity bottle in a reasonable amount of time. But 2 ounce, even down to 1 ounce, if you're going through like a lot of whiskeys, you got a big collection, you're sampling a lot.
So kirigami is when you fold and cut paper.
Yeah.
Origami is folding, and this is just my rudimentary understanding of it. This is just called paper cutting, but you see how delicate that is? It looks like lace. It looks like sewn lace, but it's just hand cut paper. That's that delicate art of stability and fragility combined. Right. That's
so the more
right in this glass.
I go back to this, those sweeter, maltier, lighter flavors that I was finding on the nose, and then that initial approach on the palate with the first taste, and you have this core of the earthiness. The more I go back to this, the earthiness, that sweet earthiness builds.
It does.
It gets greater and greater bandwidth, and everything else starts falling by the wayside.
This blend is masterful.
And also
it does not collapse.
It also changes the more you go back to the whiskey. You're going to acclimate to some notes more than others. That's an interesting one. I like that. Yeah. We got the Taylor Maines. I'm really quick before I forget, because I've been trying to remember this. We'll get to you, Taylor. You named off, it could be American, it could be Irish. I'm not getting American at all. I don't think I'm getting Irish at all. I'm getting so much Scotch influence, but there's an execution that I feel like is a Japanese execution.
Can we try this? I'm going to add a little water to yours. Let it sit for a second. It really makes it interesting.
Taylor Maines, I've noticed many people saying they couldn't really stand their first peated Scotch. I took one sip of Lefroy and knew it was something I'd drink forever. I do, however, smoke pipe tobacco. Anyone else think smoking pipe tobacco makes peated whiskeys easier to get into?
I wondered that too. Ironically, anytime someone asks what to pair with smoking a cigar or a pipe, people's default is port and sherry and all these sweet, desserty things to contrast the smoke flavors, right? But I've found that it doubles down. I mean, spicy food gets spicier with high alcohol, and smoke can get more aggressive and burny high alcohol with a smoked pipe tobacco. Yeah. But I love the pairing of really smoky whiskey and a cigar.
Yeah.
See how that changed?
It did.
It got a little more earthy.
You got a little bit more oily too. More of an oily, saturated sweetness quality.
By the way, a couple back, I keep forgetting this. So Brian Love, I'm going to do this because this is my flub. Brian Love has a website called Japanese Whiskey Review.
Yeah.
He's been following us and talking and emailing me.
Yeah.
And back and forth for 4 years.
Brian Love.
And when he emails me, we'll review some random Japanese whiskey, and then he'll email me and it'll be like 2 pages. And I'll be like, here's everything you ever wanted to know about all these whiskeys. I wish you'd reached out to me before you did the review. And I was like, I totally will next time. Yeah. And then the next review, I'm like, it's
Did you not reach out to Brian?
I didn't reach out to Brian.
You didn't reach out to Brian?
I did go look on his website because I realized this morning I don't have time.
Right.
So I went to his website and looked it up. But last week when I said, you've got Japanese Whiskey Review and Whiskey Richard, he thought I was combining those two things because those are two different things. Whiskey Richard is no communication website, Japanese whiskeys.
Okay.
Brian Love is Japanese Whiskey Review.
Okay.
Those are two different things, and I use both of them a lot when I'm trying to find the background of something.
Sure.
Where their distillery websites have no information.
Now then.
So thank you.
The business at hand. What say you, good Sir Whittington?
So, I process stress all in my head, and not externally. So I don't yell or freak out or anything. I just internalize it all.
Yeah.
Right? And then it just brews. And then usually I can release it. But in the last 8 years or so, 10 years, maybe since I got to the academy, 7 years.
Wait a minute. Are you putting this on the job?
No, I'm just, stress has increased in the last 7, 8 years. All right. It's reached a point where my body something started happening, and I know Dad noticed it first because of watching the videos.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I went and watched it. I'm like, son of a bitch, it's a physical tick. I've developed a physical tick that for the life of me, I can't get rid of. And now that I'm going to tell you about it, you're never going to unsee it. It's raising my right shoulder. Like this. I always do it. Never in my life. You've edited all the videos. You probably noticed this.
Billy, can I confess something? Even when I edited the videos, because Fancy Dan does it now, he does a great job. Even when I edited the videos, I pay so little attention to you.
Oh yeah.
I never
Fair
noticed.
enough. Yeah.
I never noticed.
Okay, well.
Until somebody pointed out.
So
people were pointing it out. I was like, Daniel goes like this a lot. And then I started just like, oh.
Yeah, okay, it's literally a stress-induced tick. And I'm unable to get rid of it. The best I've been able to do is if I consciously think about it, I cannot move. But if I get slightly distracted from consciously thinking about it, the minimum version is I'll do this. I'll kind of lean to one side and you'll see it all the time. And I don't know. I just don't know how to stop.
You want to play a drinking game where you will die? Yeah. You will die. Every time Danny goes like this, you just throw on back.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
That's probably me. That tracks. That's about the amount of time you've known me.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, son of a bitch.
Here's defining, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, fight me, you bastard. If you fight me, fight for a friend.
You steal, may you steal your lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us. That was to help you give you a starting point.
Audio sync.
Audio sync. So guys, guess what?
Wait, Daniel.
Hey, wait. You a little thirsty?
No parched.
A little parched?
No parched. What's going on? What the hell?
Well,
what the hell?
So that's because dry week is coming up.
I
wanted you to begin to feel the pain.
So the quarterly challenge is upon us once again, you magnificent bastards.
That's right.
Daniel, let's remind people, what is the quarterly challenge?
The quarterly challenge is a chance for us all to take a week-long break from all alcohol, just to sort of check in and make sure we don't have any sort of dependency issues or we aren't sort of going back to the bottle a little more often than necessary.
Yeah, which maybe within the current environment, it's very easy to get down that slippery slope there. Now, there's a couple of reasons. One, practically speaking, for all the whiskey nerds out there, this is a really nice way to reset the palate.
It really is. I found that when I move to other things and then come back to whole whiskey categories, it's interesting.
And as we mentioned, it's also an intentional check-in. This is by no means a perfect way to make sure that you don't have any problems, but to be intentional about it on a regular basis.
Yes.
That's the point. So we invite you to join us. We're going to take a break from content and a break from drinking. And we will see you magnificent bastards on the other side. And
wait, here's the dates. You want the dates?
I do. First do the dates and then I'll do because there's the list.
There's a thing.
There's a list.
Okay, you're going to tell them about the sign-up list. Okay, so this is going to start Friday, August 7th at noon and go through Friday, August 14th at noon.
That's the official time.
Yeah.
Now, if your own schedule is, that's fine. The point is to have an intentional, solid week of taking a break from
What happens if they do it?
Everybody that participates has become a whiskey challenger.
That's right.
At the end of the week, we're going to provide a link to a list to add your name to the highlight list of whiskey challengers. This is a really long thing.
It is a really long thing. Sorry, Dan.
Bye.